Welcome to Starfleet Universe On Call. I am Paul France, owner of France Games. I'm on SFU Online, FedCom Online, and Starfleet Warlord. Just remember how to join us. We have TalkCast every Thursday night starting at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Time. You can either call on the phone to start with 605-562-0444. Just follow the directions. Call ID is 17702. Or you can participate on the web. Just go to the Talks website at www.talkshoe.com. Search for call ID 17702 or SFU On Call or Starfleet Universe On Call. You should be able to find us there. But if you want the best online experience, you want to go to twitch.tv, yes, twitch.tv/SFU On Call, and you'll find us there. And you will join the chat room and watch my lovely face as we live stream it over the interwebs. And of course, this lovely Talkcast gets into a podcast available on iTunes and various other feeds around the net. Some quick news from A to B this week. We have, of course, Steve Petrick still working on Module K, and the Orion Master Starship book. Also released this past week is a Call to Arms Starfleet book 1.2, the Gorn Ship Roster Card Pack Revised, is now available. Also, this week found on the online store is GURPS Klingon Gunboat Deck Plans. This is actually a cool little thing. It's only $16.95. It's deck plans created by Nick Blank. If anyone of you are at Starfleet Universe and have gone to Origins, you probably met Nick Blank because he was a judge for many, many years. We judged together. And also, he was also into F&E, so he did a lot of that stuff after he stopped judging at Origins. But anyhow, what he did is make these breathtaking deck plans in a scale designed for use with miniatures or cardboard heroes. The standard G1, which is what this is shown in 6 sheets, 3 for each deck, as is for the U1 workboat. 2 additional sheets provide the upper and lower decks for the G1L hull extensions. Also includes 5 color crewmen, 27 of them, and all deck planes sheets are double-sided with 1 meter hexes on one side and 1.5 meter squares on the other side. So you can actually, it's really good for actually playing Prime Directive when you're in the actual, if you're using a gunboat in that campaign. Also, of course, the Star, going on to the SFB Online tournament, Sapphire Star 17 more. Now we have 13 signups. We have 3 more to go. Looks like they're asking me to send out another email. I will do that. Also, I'll see if I can post that up on the Facebook groups so that they will know that, hey, we're still looking for people. We just need 3 more people. We got Steve McCann who just signed up, and we just need 3 more people. Just 3 more people. I'm signed up myself, so I'm doing my part. You out there who play SFB, do your part. Sign up. And moving onward and forward to the library report. Actually, there have been no updates when it comes to the library. I was really tired last weekend. Hopefully this weekend I should be able to get around to actually creating a update for the refits and the explanation of the refits and how they work, so that Matt and Frank can better handle them, and I can get what I want, which is general units that actually create the refits the way I would expect them to be done. At least I want them to be done. Let's be honest there. And when it comes to the FedCom library, no progress there either. So with that is the news for this week. Then this me, the one and all Paul Francis, welcoming you, the Starfleet Universe On Call. And tonight, we have me and Doug. Say hi, Doug.
Hi, Doug.
How you doing this lovely evening?
I are here. How are you?
I am here, and I'm doing pretty good. Actually, I was watching the debate a little bit kind
Ah,
of. Yeah, I'm not gonna talk about it. I just want to mention what I was doing. That's it. It was interesting.
no. I'm not. I specifically am totally avoiding it because I have absolutely no interest in watching two extremely geriatric men point their fingers at each other. And
Take it off of my lawn. Yeah,
yeah, basically, and then they will both be mercilessly mocked by uh,
each other's
their,
party. Yeah,
but yeah,
uh,
by the other side
right. Oh.
repeatedly afterwards. It's
Mhm.
you pretty much know how all that's gonna go. It's gonna be a lot of canned answers. I mean, the only entertainment factor is gonna be like when they go off script, pretty much.
Agreed.
Uh, so
Agreed. Okay, that's it. No more.
among
Well,
other things.
that wasn't even really politics. It was just mention of what political theater is happening this evening.
Oh, good God. Uh-huh.
Huh? As I said, I'm
So,
not going to
and
be.
things that are less political theater. Origins was this past weekend.
Yeah, it's that early? Huh.
Yeah, it's over.
Wow.
It is now in the past for
Mm-hmm.
this year. Like, yeah, it catches up every year. It's like, hey, and done. It's like,
Yeah.
okay.
It's been a long, long
So,
time since I went to the Origins.
yeah, I think about going, and then I think, okay, never mind. 'Cause I mean, it's like, what is there for me now?
Oh, agreed.
At this point.
I
So,
really should go. Not maybe not the Origins, but go to like PAX in Philadelphia because it's not that far. You know,
I've never been to that one yet.
me neither. But I know they have a lot of board games and things like that, and it's like, this something that's interesting.
Yeah, right now, I'm happy to get out twice a year to do gamers.
That's why I have not checked, which is Historicon, which is down supposed to be down in Lancaster, if I recall correctly.
Historicon, yeah, it was in Lancaster for decades, and then they moved to like Virginia, Northern Virginia, something.
Okay.
And now I think they're back in Lancaster. The first time I went to Historicon, it was actually in Camp Hill, just across the river from Harrisburg, way back in the day.
Way back
And
in
that
the
was a
day.
lot of fun. Oh yeah,
Huh.
I'm talking about like 80s.
Hmm. Okay.
Like when I was home in between army tours, and I went to that one, and it's like the few times that I've gotten to go, that's been fun. I've gotten to play games. I liked
Really,
playing
people?
Fire and Fury down at. I had the pleasure of playing a Fire and Fury scenario where the guy who makes the game was running the scenario, and it was from the book that he was releasing that year, and I got to break the scenario.
Wow.
I'm trying to remember the name of the battle, but it was like American Civil War, and it wasn't like Gettysburg or Antietam. It was like I'm thinking either Chickamauga or Murfreesboro or something. It was one of the ones in the Western Theater, but it was like Tennessee or Kentucky, and basically the way the map was set up and the way everything went down, I was able to take a cavalry unit and put it in column and run it up a road behind the Union lines and say, okay, I'm just totally breaking your lines. And it's like, I was in the position to do exactly that when we went to like lunch break. And I came back from lunch break early and the guy who basically the game designer,
Mm-hmm.
not just the guy who runs the game
Right.
designer, I'm sorry, was standing there talking with some other guy and looking at the situation and saying, that's the end of the game right there. This guy does that, which he meant me,
Mm-hmm.
and it's literally just over for the one side. And so, in the interest of having a fun time, he decided to, we're just gonna like, and he explained it to everybody when everybody was back. He says, okay, look here, this guy right here, meaning me,
Right.
is he's in the position where he's gonna run these guys up behind you, and he's just gonna attack here and break the game, break the scenario. So we're gonna call it a win for that side, and in the interest of playing, we're just gonna kind of move his guys back over here for now, and we'll continue.
Right. So the idea is okay. This guy won, but we're gonna back his pieces so we actually can have some fun playing this scenario.
We're gonna have a few more hours of play instead of a few more minutes.
Right.
Instead of a couple turns, we'll have the rest of the afternoon.
Right.
So I felt pretty good. It was great battles of the oh god, not great battles of Civil War. It was I forget the name of the book, but I actually have the book.
Mm-hmm.
It's like I have both scenario books that he put out and the game, but I don't have any minis for it. I never painted any of the Napoleonics or the Civil War minis
Mm-hmm.
from that time period when I used to play because the few people in the area that I found who played, they basically had their armies. And they had the armies for both sides for all scenarios. I'm like, okay. So it's like all I did was I bought the books.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I have a copy of Napoleon's Battles somewhere,
Oh, cool.
which is also a fun game, but you know,
Oh,
there it is.
understood. Hey, Jeff.
Good evening, everyone. The reports of my demise are highly anticipated, but erroneous.
Understood. Though that you are cutting the whole really garbled.
Yeah, a lot of garbly garble. So hi Jeff. What part of the country are you in tonight?
Uh oh. I wonder if we lost him.
Sydney, Nebraska.
Ah.
Cool.
Yeah,
Did
the
I mention?
signal's horrible. I agree there.
Did I mention last week the issue with gamers?
Oh, you mean that the hotel might be turned into something different?
Yeah, they're going to be repurposed eventually, but right now, um, even if the deal goes through, we're good for this summer, and I don't know, maybe this winter, maybe not,
Mm-hmm.
but they won't actually do their transition until like next May or something.
Yeah, and my understanding, what I heard, I think where I either read it or heard it, that there was actually a council meeting, and it was
And they said no.
yes.
That's correct. I may have mentioned that too.
Okay,
So that might have been part of last week's conversation.
that might be.
But yeah, that was also in the thread for the convention on Facebook too. So we're still a go. Yay!
Cool.
And are you participating in the current tournament that's coming up?
Yes.
And is that the one you wanted to talk about?
Yes, actually, I have another ship I wanted to talk about because I looked at some of the ships and I went, really, what kind of different tactics can you actually use these like Gazini? what else could you do with them? It's kind of the ship is designed for a certain play style, which is, lots of drones, possible, knife fight, and that's about it.
Well,
It's not.
it can be a kitey ship too. You've got disruptors. You got 4 of them.
Mhm.
It's just they're not all forward arc. No wait, are they all forward arc?
All forward arc, but
But they also have that
you
little
got pairs which are FA plus R and FA
and
plus L.
plus L. Yeah. So yeah, that's a ship that you
It
could
actually has
play
some
kitey
advantages, not
and
just
die.
drones. They have extended disruptor arcs. They've got a really good secondary phaser belt as far as the phaser threes go. They have some disadvantages in that if you run out of drones, you're going to lose most of your ability to force the battle. It's one of those weird ships that it works until you run out of ammo, and then it doesn't.
Right.
And in my last tournament, what I ran into was I had the same spaces of drones as my opponent. And my opponent had half again as much crunch power. On top of that, help bore poking in on shield number 3 for 11 points of internals every time he hit me didn't help.
No, that would not help. But yeah, obviously one of the good things about the Zenny is the phaser threes are a good number of arcs outside the FA arc. You got left side, right side, and also left rear, and right rear. So anything from the sides automatically hit a phaser 3. And so you do have the defensive even outside the FA arc. And same for, you got 2 phaser 1s, which are 360. And the phaser 1s that are up at the front of the ship, you've got those same arcs that the disruptors have, FAL and FAR. So it can actually fight kind of out shield number 3 and shield number 5. But
The interesting thing about it is if you
It's
wanted
really
to
good.
try a
It's really good
different
for keeping the saber dance going.
yeah, true. What was that, Doug?
Yeah, just a random thought, but if you really wanted to do a kitey kind of fight, where you're firing a couple phasers and a couple disruptors a turn, you could be stringing your drones out as basically, phaser soaker uppers on your opponent instead of like trying to just overwhelm them. So
Now the question I have, if you're going to do that, would you change the loadout for your drone racks? I.e., don't switch out 2 of the type, like the 3 times you're allowed to switch out 2 type 1s for type 4. Therefore, you have more drones overall for the fight.
yeah, basically. And I probably limit it to like just a couple a turn for a long time.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, the reason that you switch out those drones for the Type 4s is for an overwhelming attack.
Right.
So, and if you're going to do a subtle, long-term fight, then you can't really do that.
True.
So.
No, if you're going to try to grind them down, yeah, you're going to want all the drones you can get, and you'll probably end up wanting to unload your scatter pack for additional super inventory drones to reload racks with after you start repairing them late in the game.
That is a good idea.
You
Now the
can
question,
unload your scatter pack for ammo, but you can't load a new one.
right? Understood. Which brings up the other question, which is, do you want possibly, what's the other? There's some other. This is the SSD book. Sorry. Possibly have the extended. I think you can get extended range drones. It's part of it.
And a half
Yeah, there's not
point.
much in it.
Yeah, you go to you can get the extended range drones. I think it's half one. It's like I think it's the same cost as upgrading packs.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, don't cheat. Yeah, that's a good idea. Well, I'm looking at the rules because I brought up the rule book. Le tote clignores. Don't mind me. Okay, I'm looking. Okay. Let's see. Where is? Okay. Oh, right at the top. Okay. And looking for drones. Okay. They're all type. You got 6 type 1 NEMs. Okay, then you have 4 points of upgrade. You can buy upgrade to a fast. That's a half point. You can buy an extra type 1M for a point and a half. Extended endurance, that's it. I thought so. For a half a point. So that's something would you want to do, or do you still want those fast drones to keep your opponent off guard?
Yeah, you want to keep your
I
opponent
think the
off guard.
fast drones would have better value than buying extended range drones. You gotta run 3 turns to run a drone drive,
Right.
and that's a lot of dancing around the board at high speed, which means they're not going to have power to do anything else.
I should have brought that in. Sorry.
Now, one thing you might think about doing is buying a couple of. This is under those. The math doesn't match, but buy 2 extra Type 1M drones, convert 2 drones, or convert 2 Type 4s, and then upgrade both of them to fast. And so you've got a nasty surprise if you ever need to pull it out. But at that point, you'd be set for a long grind by popping off a drone every turn or so, unloading the scatter pack, reloading your racks, and if it ever came up, then you could turn around and you could drop two fast 4s at somebody. But I do think that the upwards of 8 drone spaces of fast drones is going to be the better buy. Excuse me.
Right.
Yeah, 8 spaces.
Yeah. Yeah, get a fast drone.
You
Better buy.
swap two type 1Fs for 1 type 4F.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't that how that works?
Yep.
Yeah.
Because usually what you would do is you do your swap for the 2 type 4s 2 type 1 for a type 4, and then you would upgrade those drones, so it only costs half a point.
Oh no,
For each one of them.
right? No, you could do 8 drones. 8 drones, not 8 spaces,
Right.
because you can. It's just 1/2 point to upgrade each frame, not each
Right.
spacing frame.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But as we said, with that tactic, we need more drones than anything else. And
Well, here's
to
a
buy
question.
an extra
I forget.
Type 1 is a 1.5 points, which is almost half the points you were given as a Zinni.
Here's a question. I
Well,
forgot.
you know,
Are you allowed
two
to
extra Type 1M
Yeah.
drones is 3 points. You've got one left.
Right. But at the same
You're allowed to
time,
change
you have
your
6
drone load?
one
I don't think I've
M's
ever
in
even
the scatter
heard
pack,
of
which you're going to
anybody
be
taking an
taking
extra
out. You know. So, sorry, what was that, Doug?
I forget. Are you allowed to change your drone loadout between rounds?
Yeah, you can have different loadouts. Yes.
I believe so.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think the
You
Kazini's
can't
the one
change
that
your
can do
option
that.
package except in.
The Orion, which you have
But
two
yeah,
option
you can change
packages.
your drone allocations.
Right.
So basically, you can like come up with a couple different packages that you're gonna do for drones, based on your tactic that you're gonna use
Yep.
against a
Right,
particular
right.
type of opponent.
Right. Which I think is what we were pointing out, which is if we're going for a long-term tactic of kind of hitting him at long range throughout the game, then you're going to want more drones instead of that heavier punch that the Type 4 can give.
Of course, this ship you could also just anchor your opponent too and feed them drones.
Oh yeah, that's always an option with the Zinni or any drone ship like the Wax or the Wind GBS. What is it, Caddy?
Pay attention to me, human.
Heck, the Oxbox can have up to 6 drone racks.
Yep. The
Yeah, but he can only control what
The
3
difference
drones?
is the Oxbox doesn't have double drone control. So yeah, you can only control 6 at a time.
right. The Octopid Pig. Actually, yeah.
The Black Shark can have 4, but it suffers the same problem.
I
Same
thought there
with
was
the
something
same with the
with
Klingon.
Orcs that you had to have. I think there was something with the Orcs where you had to have like all 6 to have the ability to use 6.
No,
I thought
you're
they were
thinking
reduced.
about the Orion. They have
Oh,
oak disc.
The
You're
Orion
thinking Oak
reduced.
Disc.
Yep.
Oh, yep. That's it. Thank you.
If you've got 3 or more drones, you can get Oak Disc. I think is what it amounts to.
Oh, there you go, Paul. That could be one.
Oh no, I'm
package. Take
wait
an
a second. I'm
Orion.
thinking something else.
Take an Orion with drones as one package. To just go in and anchor your opponent, launch all your drones, and blow his shields down on impulse 32 and suck them into range 0 after tractor rotation phase the next turn. There's no feedback for drones.
Oh, understood. But you only have 5 drone ranks. But that's still fine.
And then you could have like a different package for like everything else you're not going to use drones on.
Understood. Yeah, I just okay. Makes it definitely an interesting ship, I must admit. Because obviously with the Orion, it can double the warp and the impulse, and have that extra energy available to actually traction your opponent. It doesn't have to be range 1. It can be like range 2, possibly range 3. But I would think if you have 5 drone racks, your opponent's going to anticipate a tractor auction. if you're within 3 hexes, and most probably short of your opponent running away at top speed or getting into a situation where he actually can run away, he's going to put energy towards anti-tractor, and you most probably will be able to get closer than range 3.
Yeah, you could always just overrun them too.
Yep. Yeah, because I was thinking about.
End up at range 0 and impulse 32, launch all your drones and phaser hose them. So.
Yeah, it's close to a Zinni when it comes to weapons. I'm thinking about Orion with 5 drone racks, because you have 4 phaser 1s and 6 phaser 3s instead of 8, but close, you know. Obviously, the biggest issue with the Orion is this right here. 6 hull, 6 cargo.
Oh, just because it's an eggshell doesn't mean anything. just break that number 1 and spread towards NMEB.
You've got there.
Yeah.
Is that
If you really want to just be mean, take 5 fusions on it.
What was that, Jeff? I'm sorry, Doug was talking over you.
It's got the standard tournament shields, but once you beat its shield down and you get into internals, it really has no buff. No buff at all.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you got 6 bucks in the cargo, but you got no forward hull, and you got left hull.
Right.
So after the 12 boxes of hull and cargo, just about everything counts. And isn't it one of the lightest ships for controlled spaces in the tournament? It's only got 1 bridge and 2 locks and no emergency.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, that's the biggest problem with the Orion, is that it has only 3. Let me look at the scan. 1, 2. Yeah, 3 control spaces, so it can go uncontrolled.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's an
1
eggshell.
bridge, 2 Oxcon.
If you're worried about going uncontrolled in that ship, you are probably gonna lose at that point.
Well,
Understood.
the thing is that the thing is that there's 2 ways of looking at it. If you've got a ship that's got a whole bunch of different boxes, like say the Federation Heavy Cruiser or the Wind Black Shark, what you end up doing is you want a Mizia. You want a Mizia because you want to get all of those first weapon hits from the Jack Shark. If you've got a ship that's very tiny like this, particularly it's got World Cruiser engines, you want to alpha strike the thing so that you get as deep into the DAC as you can, so you can burn up the power.
Understood. Yeah, that is one of the benefits of the Zinni, which is, of course, the hull, but also has center warp.
Yep.
Which is a great benefit because, geez, if I recall correctly, it's pretty hard to hit center warp on the deck, that is.
It does tend to survive a little longer. The Zinti is not as survivable as a couple of the other big boats in the tournament, but it does have an advantage over the Battle Raider. But the Battle Raider, if it's flown correctly, has too many other advantages, not the least of which is an A turn mode.
Right.
Ooh, the Tholian.
Which one? This one or this one? Archeo or Neo?
You know, they're both deadly. if played properly.
Hmm.
I think the Neo is more forgiving because again, it's not a war cruiser,
Right. Right.
and the big problem with the RKO is that it is a war cruiser hull.
That's true.
So then yours are your lovely Celtorin.
Yeah. Of course, I love the Celtorian, which is that's the funny part. I've not actually faced Atholian with a Celtorian. It's like they're scared of me for some reason. I don't know why.
Or people just don't run them that much.
That is true too.
You've seen a lot of like wins, basically.
Oh, by the way, quick note: Historicon this year, July 17th through the 21st. Which, of course, I'm gonna be out of town for that weekend.
Aw.
Huh? It is what it is.
Yeah, the odds are I probably won't even get to go down for a day.
Mm-hmm.
As much as I would love that.
Oh, I was want to bring up. Okay, last time it was Wax again. Arco with one Arco with Tholian, which got beat up by Moose, and that was it. It was got two Hydrons, a Gorn, two Wax, and an Orion. Two Orions. Interesting. I was just looking to see what kind of ships were flown in the past few tournaments. Right there. And of course, Klingons, Wax, big surprise. Great Black Shark, Neil, Archaeotholian again. Captain Ron keeps on flying the Archaeotholian. Oh, Madman was flying the Neotholian.
Well, maybe you would get to see one.
Yep. And I didn't. Okay. That one I didn't play. On the Sapphire Star Tournament, 15 I did not play. Okay, I think I played in 14. I think I was the Andromedan in that one. Yeah, I was in Andromeda. I beat the Klingon, and then oh yeah, Stephen beat the Andromedan. I forget why. It's been a while since I played that game.
Which one was it?
The Wax. It was a phaser bow Wax against the Andromedan.
And you were
The
the
Andromedan.
Andromedan?
And yeah, oh yeah, last tournament I played the LDR versus the Romulan.
And
Yeah, I think
that round went for like extra innings. You guys were like what, 5, 6 engagements?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, I forget. Oh man, I'm trying to remember what exactly I did. But I kept on. Oh, I know why. That was one. He kept on launching the plasmas, and I got a good hit on him. But he kept on the original cause of my issue is that he cornered me with the plasmas, and there was no way I could get out of that situation. It was a rough one, Oh yeah, it was the one I kept
You
on.
never overran.
Um, Wild Weasel.
Hmm. Among other things.
Right.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
remember
didn't you
that
run
one.
out of
That was
shuttles before the end?
I was running low on the shuttles. Yes, I did not. I don't think I run out. Actually, yes, I did. At the very end, I ran out, and that's what caused me to lose it in the end.
interesting.
But yeah, for this tournament, I plan on playing the Saltorian, and hopefully, if I,
There you go.
I'll at least
That's a
win
super ship right there,
one game.
Hydrant. Just take that Hydrant and overrun him.
The biggest issue with the Hydran, of course, is Mizia. That's what keeps
Oh
them
yeah.
causing it to lose.
But you can lose to any ship to Mitsuya.
Hmm.
Just maybe it is a little bit more susceptible than most of the other tournament ships. But oh my gosh, it can be just totally brutally deadly.
Oh, yeah. The number of weapons it has, the fusions, the hellbores, obviously. A fusion,
Well,
you
yeah,
can,
it's like you get up to range one or two, turn impulse 30, 31, unload the hellbore, uh, maintain the anchor over the other side, then suicide overload the fusions. Bob's your uncle, the other guy's toast.
oh, agreed there.
Agreed. Range one, the worst an overloaded fusion will do is 6 points. So
Hmm.
it's like, yeah, if you end the turn at range one or zero, at range two, one or zero, and off the center line of a Hydran in the tournament, you're going to receive everything you deserve.
Very true. Very true. I forget, Jeff. How much damage is done with a suicide overload of a fusion?
It's double.
It's double. It's double the standard. It's double the
Okay.
standard damage.
Okay, that's what
So
I
a suicide fusion at range one would do 16 points on the roll of a one or 8 points on the roll of a six.
And you have no feedback.
It costs seven points of power though, and you lose the weapon after it fires.
an additional internal, if I recall correctly.
Hmm.
Yeah, unless it's the weapon plus one, like a chain reaction, and it can actually start a chain reaction if you hit a shuttle box that's got a loaded fighter in it. Uh, except for the fact that chain reactions were dropped from the tournament
But
rules, if memory serves.
yeah, at that point,
Yes.
at
Um,
that point, your fighter should already be out.
Right. Oh, agree.
well, yeah. Well, according to regular SFB, a scatter pack or a suicide shuttle with any kind of warhead is also considered an armed shuttle for purposes of chain reactions,
Mm-hmm.
which can be really nasty. Um,
Yeah, but is
I'd
chain
actually
reaction used in tournament?
No. Suicide, so yes. Um,
no
chain
suicide
reaction,
shuttle
no.
just scatter. Yeah, I think we just decided that chain reactions were dropped because of the interactions with the rules. You
Yep.
might want to double check the suicide option on the fusion, and if it was limited out of the tournament rules too, for that matter.
I
Um,
kind of doubt it.
but no, I kind of doubt it too. The thing is that 28 points of power to get that much damage output, plus whatever whatever you've got left in the phaser capacitor. If you're on the center line, you're going to get both G's if they're both still alive, plus whatever drones are left. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's game-winning damage.
Yeah. Chain reactions are definitely not used, and
Yeah.
I do not see. There's no mention that that suicide overload is not used. So it must be used.
Yeah. So it's expensive on power, but if you've got it to spare because you're not moving, because it's the end of the turn break, the guys on the center line at range 1. Yeah, he can hurt you pretty bad, but I think you're going to hurt him worse.
Agreed.
What is the power on the Hydran? What is it, 36?
No, I think it's 40.
Okay. 30 plus 6 plus 4 is 40.
40? Okay,
4.
so after housekeeping, you're looking at 6 points, 8 points for phasers or anything else.
Well,
Heck,
if you're recharging, yeah.
Plus
Now,
whatever's in the batteries.
Well, if you're going into range 1 or 0, you're probably not going to be worrying about recharging your phasers because you're going to blow all your phasers on impulse 32. And
Well,
hopefully you'll push your opponent off
that's
on
true.
impulse.
If you've got, if you're, it all depends on what phasers are in ARC and available on impulse 1 after the turn break. But yeah, it's what I was just thinking off the cuff. If you're off if he's off the center line, range 1 over the turn break, 2 overloaded L boards probably eat too much energy versus, what would that be, 12 points for both of them?
Yeah.
Well, the thing is,
6
if
points
you're
overloaded L board?
Mm-hmm.
if you're in that boat at that range over a turn break, you probably don't need to worry about much in the way of maneuver for the next turn.
That is
Because
true.
No,
the whole idea is you pump all that power and blow them to bits.
I mean, I was like, okay, you have to have active fire control. You're going to have life support. You're going to have a shield because he is going to return fire. If anything in ARC, he's going to.
Mm-hmm.
And then on the center line, you've got 5 phaser ones. Both Gatlings. That's another 8 phaser 3 blasts. That's if it's available. But the 4 fusion beams on suicide overload, that's 28 points of power right there.
True. But the question, though, for those is, could you get them in ARC? Because the fusion are very limited. You get right front right and left front left.
Oh yeah.
So most probably you only get 2 in ARC.
I understand, but if he's on the center line, you can hit him with all 4.
Right. But my guess, that's going to be a really hard one to do. If you get that, he's dead anyway.
Well, yeah, it's like
minimum of 16.
So you have like 8 points of power left over. Yeah, if you got to recharge some phasers to shoot at him, that'd be one thing to do. You wouldn't even have to bother with trying to tractor him, and that would just screw with his head. Hell, I'd even give you a hellbore available if it's the second turn of arming for it. Yeah, no, it would be nasty. It would be absolutely nasty.
Oh, agreed. The biggest issue will be if you're facing like a plasma opponent or person with lots of drones. Just
Well, the thing is,
because.
you can also do a lot of like you've got two tractors for drones. You got phaser Gs for drones. You've
Mhm.
got the ability to brick and run in real close. You don't have to use your hellbores on that ship. That's the thing. A lot of people will get so focused on using everything that they don't realize that
Yeah,
if you forego that 6 points of power that you would have to roll over turn after turn, that's a nice brick or extra speed to get onto your opponent for range 0. The only downside of that is,
yeah.
uh, you know, how much damage can you do to him on 32 before you give him 4 fusions on impulse 1 the next turn? You know,
That's true.
how much of a brick how much of your shields can you have going into that situation? So,
It does add into the mix. It
but you've also
absolutely
got
adds into
the
the mix.
dual bay. You get your opponent to range
Of course,
0. You launch 2 suicide shuttles. He's got to kill them or take them on impulse 1. You launch your 2 suicide shuttles and your 2 fighters. If they become damage sponges, then that's less stuff shooting you, and more stuff you'll have to kill a ship with on the next turn.
the
And
hydrant has a lot of options. It also has the ability to make a mistake once, and like some of the other.
Another thing that you can do is you can go in for a moderate range attack with some speed changes with your fighters already out. Your fighters could actually do a decent bit of damage in that range 8 bracket. You could alpha the guy, get a shield down, pop 1 hellbore into it, go pick up your fighters, and then speed up to get away and just start a ranged thing alternating your hellbores.
Don't forget, you've got a 5 and 6 chance of doing some damage at range 10 with the fusions if you decide to use them.
Yeah, you pop all 4 charges on each of those fighter fusions, and all 4 of your fusions as standards, and your 5 phaser 1s.
Yep.
You're going to either take down a shield or you'll put a good dent in it. And you pop the overloaded hellbore on that shield the next impulse. And your
or
opponent
use
now
the
has
second firing
major
option on the
liability.
hellbore and fire. And if you use the second firing option on the hellbore, you can fire it outside the volley on the same impulse.
Yeah, and the nice thing about that is that if you pop all 4 of your fusions on the ship, the next turn while you're running away, you don't have to pay power for them. They just have a cooldown. They don't have a multi-turn thing.
Right. They've got
Right.
32
And if you
impulses
want
to cool down,
to,
otherwise they're almost analogous to disruptors.
yeah. But the thing with fusion, you actually can hold them for 1 point of energy. And
You can,
also,
which makes them better for disruptors, which means that if you're holding one on the following turn, you can spend 3 points to get it to an overload, which is a point cheaper than a disruptor.
right? Agreed.
It also means you don't have to discharge an overloaded disruptor because you never got to range 8 at the end of the turn and give away what you were doing.
Understood. And of course, with the fusion cooldown, you can't load energy in it at all during the cooldown.
Which is what I just
Nope.
said.
Yeah. Okay. I'm not sure. Okay, I missed that you mentioned about the energy, but I know you mentioned that about the cooldown and that you do not put energy into it, but the rule says you cannot put energy into the fusions.
Right. And the thing is, yeah,
No,
one
if
less
it's on
thing for
cooldown,
your
it's on
player.
cooldown. The only thing you can do is after the 32 impulses of cooldown expire, you could use battery or reserve power to start arming it.
Right. Which is one of the things I was thinking about the Hellbore, which is if you don't use them at all during the game, at least beginning part of the game, you can start turn one using reserve power. And that's the one thing I don't remember, and I have to look up the rules, which is if you start it on on like turn 3, you actually start the arming using reserve power. Is there a impulse delay before you can fire it?
Yes,
Okay.
I forget.
it's called the 9 impulse photon. It's eight impulses from when power was first applied to the weapon.
Okay.
I believe there was a term paper posted about the 9 impulse photons using reserve power at the end of turn 1 and having loaded torpedoes on turn 2.
Right. Because that is the benefit of the Hellbore. If you plan for that, then when you get close to the end of that one turn and you realize you'll be able to use your Hellbore, you can start the charge with reserve power, so you're prepared for the next turn and to use it.
Well, for one of them anyway.
Right.
Anyway.
Oh, understood.
You only got 5 points of battery.
Darn. If we only had one more.
Say what? It's got 5.
I know. But if you had 6 batteries, that'd be even better.
Yeah, good luck with that.
Yeah, well, us players that have had fun flying the Andromedas, we always want more battery. It's just the way it is.
That is true.
What would you do with 3 more battery boxes on your SSD?
Oh man, I would.
Fly like it was 1999. That's what I'd be doing.
That'd be one thing. Challenge anyone. Okay, I'll fly you with the old Andromedan, the original Andromedan. Actually, do I have? Can you get that module? I don't think you can. Okay.
Are you talking the one before the crate?
Yeah, well, when it had the grate, but it was much nicer. It had more internals, more battery. The
You mean the
TTR
Iron
had,
Robot?
the TTR heavy from the originally. Obviously now they're back, which is good. Which is always a weird. Always, what I would love to have, which was to have 4 TRLs instead of 2 heavies. Just because, well, there's a benefit to my opponent in that I can't. It causes me to roll more die rolls, and therefore the possibility of having less damage. But also, when you look at the damage chart, it's split it in half, and on those odds, it's rolled down. So if you had, let me, do they have, where's the Andromedan? There it is. like right here, roll 4 of on 4 to 5 is 15. Roll 4 to 5 is 7. So if I rolled 2 4s at range
Yep.
4, it would only do 14 point damage instead of 15 points of damage. So it would be a benefit for my opponent in that case. But I would love to have my old Craig back.
Aw.
And of course, having four TRLs would give you 2 extra tractors against drones or shuttles.
Yeah, that would be nice. Because then, at the very least, I could probably use one of the TRLs as a tractor beam. Especially the one that I'm always concerned with as the Andromedan is the whole Ziddy Type 4. When he launches Type 4 and two Type 2 and 2 Type 1s. With the 6 Phaser 2s, I cannot kill all 4 of those drones. It's impossible. Actually, it's less likely. It's hard. It's harder to do.
And you're light on labs too.
Yep. I only have 2,
And
which
the
is
Andromeda has some almost game-breaking toys, but at the same time, they have a lot of blind spots.
yeah.
Yeah, well, the problem with the Andromedan is it's either one thing away from being invincible or one thing away from being totally hosed over 9 ways to Sunday and you're just screwed.
Yeah.
So,
Oh yeah. As an Andromeda
Yep.
player, I'm constantly thinking
Just
how
been
to manage
balanced.
the energy in my batteries. Constantly.
but as a ship, it's just never been balanced. And it's probably still not really balanced.
I still wish they would turn around and allow the PA groups, the PA panel groups in the front to be flipped independently of each other to allow you an opportunity to actually flip the power from the forward panels into the small battery array.
Oh, you mean the rules so instead of going from like the front panels to the rear panels, have it so could it go from front panels directly into the battery instead?
No. So you've got granted this is stylistic and I know that, but on the SSD you've got PAs 1, 2, and 3 grouped together and PAs 4, 5, and 6 grouped together.
Right.
And PIs 7, 8, 9, and 10 grouped together.
Right.
So you would flip panels 1, 2, and 3.
Oh,
All right.
okay.
There's no room left in 4, 5, and 6. So then it would go to the rear panel, and then whatever's left over goes into the battery, and you're not turning around and releasing 6 panels worth of power that can't fill into the battery.
Right.
Because if you've got any extra points of power with the full battery, you take it as internal damage.
Oh, understood. It's like, where is it? Is it this one? No. I'm thinking about, I know there's some ships where it actually has, oh, here it is. Zinni. See, there's 2 sections for the shuttles, but it's considered one shuttle bay. You know,
Yep.
that whole thing.
And that's just because it's stylistically it looks looks better to align the boxes and the space provided. And I understand that's the stock answer if you hit the Steves with the issue. I just think that if you're going to limit the size of the battery array to where you can't flip, if you can't start with empty batteries, full panels, and flip the forward panels to standards to release that power, you've pretty much destroyed the Andromedan's only defensive advantages. Because flipping your panels is the one really foolproof way of restoring your ability to take damage, and it's not
Right. Which is why,
where they can turn around and go speed zero and break everything up.
right, which is why the batteries were actually limited to 3. And definitely 2 does not work.
Yeah.
Has to be at least 3 to have any chance to do a panel, at least a minor panel dump at all. Now, we can, we really want to, we can go back to some of the ideas when it comes to the Andromeda that I had. One of those was actually add back the bay. I forget what it was called. And have
Yeah,
an energy module in there so that you could actually drain the panels directly into the energy module, and the Andromeda would get 0 energy from that. But it allowed them to increase their defenses, but give them no more energy. And I always thought the great thing about doing something like that to try to balance the ship is that you could tweak that energy module to be smaller or larger without changing the ship at all. I thought always the most beautiful part of the whole idea. One of the ships I hated was the Andromeda. Stupid Hydron. Hellbores. Front, back, same amount of energy. Hey. That's one thing I rarely did, which is, in theory, if you're flying as a direct fire ship that doesn't have like the weapons like the Hydron, where it has the Hellbores, in theory, you should go around with your the rear panels down and your front panels up, so that you can easily, after you get hit in the front panels, in theory, you can do a panel dump almost immediately to get to your rear panels, or get the energy into your batteries. You know, you do a panel dump. So.
Yeah, but the only other way you can do that if there's Hellbore in play is to take 2 of your forward panels flying intentionally. So you've got even coverage fore and aft. Otherwise, the Hellbore is you're going to be cruising in with empty panels, or nearly empty panels in the front and nearly full panels in the back, and more Hellbores in.
Oh, understood. Yeah, that was the one thing I definitely do not like with the changes that they did to the Andromeda. 3 batteries and things like that. And that was that invariably I find myself, I have to run almost a good part of the turn, at least one turn, where I actually have to dissipate the energy and absorb it into the batteries in between, at the end of turn, because I can't do a panel dump, because you need 4 batteries to do a panel dump, just because of the size of the panels here. So,
about the only other way you could do it is by taking the individual panels offline and turning them off. And I believe there are complications to doing that. It's not like just a standard panel flip. But
right, and then the panels or panel groups.
Panel off.
You can't just turn off like panel number 6 or panel number 5. You can't do that. You have to turn off the whole panel bank.
Yeah.
So, anyway,
the lack of the 3rd or 4th battery on the Andromeda is just it basically sets it up to where the Andromeda's got one really good crunch pad and away for 6 turns while he rebuilds everything.
Right. Well, I think we'll wrap up with that. Jeff, it was an immense pleasure having you back. And
Yay.
actually having a cell phone.
You guys have been missed.
Oh, same for you. You could definitely have missed.
Thank you so much.
Okay. Well, you have a good night and safe travels. Doug, as always, it's nice to have you around. Anything you want to mention?
Yeah, Gamers of Summer's coming up. Labor Day weekend. Pre-registration is open. We shall be there.
I shall be there.
So.
Okay. You have a good night.
Thank you.
So, had a discussion about multiple tournament cruisers, some ideas about attacking tactics, stratagems, about playing this wonderful game, and hopefully we can get those 3 more players for the Sapphire Star tournament so we can start it ASAP, kind of. I'm gonna be going out of town for like almost a week, starting with July 17th. So if we start before then, we're gonna have to get things done quickly. So with that, I am Paul France. I bid you a good night.